Hi, I'm sure we have all been there as teachers, realizing that we are supposed to be halfway through a lesson and students have yet to even find the materials needed for that day for what they need to do. So, I am going to talk to you about some time management strategies and routines that can help you in your classroom. My name's Jackie. I was a former elementary teacher, and this was something that I dealt with all the time. The ways that we can try and help our students hone their time management skills may seem very simple, but a lot of times it's just those little reminders, those little routine tweaks that can really help get this to be something that you have to do a little bit less reminding of, and the students get to take a little bit more ownership of. So, one way we really set students up for success are visual timers and visual schedules. So, students can see what they're working on, see how much time they have to do it, and really see that countdown. So, the first thing I always did was had a schedule up on the board every single day. They had our schedule visual. We would be able to see where we were in the day, see what was coming up, that routine, that consistency. Another thing that anytime they had independent work to do, or work in pairs, or work in small groups, I had a visual timer up on the board that would show how much time has elapsed and how much time that they really had to continue to work. And one thing that I think really can help students not just take ownership of their work in the time that they have, but also get them to be checking in on the time and realizing, hey, half the time has passed and I didn't get through half the work that I had to do, and how can I really make some adjustments? Now, every grade will be different. Kindergarten is going to need much shorter time. They're going to have a shorter attention span to do work on their own and need those more reminders. But hopefully, by the time you're in upper elementary, students are able to really do some of those check ins on their own. So, another thing that can be implemented are timer warnings. So, yes, we have the timers up. Our youngest students may not understand. You could do one of those that has the colors that shows kind of where we're getting towards in like a circle. They can kind of see I'm running out of time in my circle. But we can also do some warnings, like a 1 or 2 minute warning, so we don't just abruptly stop something. We give them a warning to start wrapping up what they're doing and realizing that they're going to be coming to the end of whatever that activity is. Another thing that I did was a transition sound. I had some teachers I knew use like a rain stick. I had a little doorbell, one that you can just buy online that plugged into the wall, and I could change whatever tone it was. And I had the little doorbell thing with me if I was in a small group working, and it would play not just like a doorbell sound, but you could change the song. So mine would be like a 30-second song, and they knew that was that 30 seconds that they would have to transition. Another thing is the physical organization that you've implemented in your classroom. We used color folders, and they knew if it was math time, I was using blue. If it was reading time, I got out my green folder, and really making sure that the organization piece was structured in a way that students knew what they needed and didn't just have to go into their desk and pull out random papers, because we took the time and I built in that time to say, at the end of this activity, this is going back in your yellow folder. And we would really make sure to save some time for organization, because it would then save time in the long run when we couldn't find the papers that we needed. So, another physical organization tip is your supplies. I did communal class supplies, so students would bring things in, or we would get some donations, or with whatever supplies that we had in the classroom, I had them communally available. So, students were rarely fighting over supplies because there was enough to go around. I know that doesn't happen in every classroom, but they would have their own little pencil box for like some things that they could grab. But in terms of community supplies, we had routines around the supplies that we used, when we used them, and how we used them. And that really helped them manage their time, because they weren't searching in their own backpack for the things that they needed for a specific activity. And then another routine suggestion that really helps students take ownership and realize that they do have the information is I used Ask Three, Then Me a lot. I wanted students to see each other as knowledge keepers, and that I wasn't the only one with the answers. So then they would realize, if I don't know the answer to this, I can ask a couple people and see, but then sometimes I'm the one being asked. So really helping them manage their time by understanding that if they're waiting and they're like, okay, she has a really long line and I'm not going to be able to get to her, I can ask other people and then get myself moving a little bit quicker than trying to wait in line to talk to the teacher when I'm working. And then I also gave students a must do and a may do list. So after an activity, if I had some early finishers, I had options. So they didn't have to wait for me to give more direction. It was on the board. Next to that timer, they could say, okay, I have 5 minutes left in this class lesson. I have a must do of I'm going to practice my FLAC fluency, or I have a must do of independent reading time, and that's enough time. I can take 5 minutes and do that. Or if they're like, I have a may do that might take me a little bit longer, I'm not going to be able to prioritize that right now. So I know this will differ based on what grade you teach, the time of year, but I really think that putting in place all of these structures, organizational tips, routines at the beginning of the year, taking a little extra time, that hopefully by now where you're at in the year, students have internalized these routines, come to understand what are the expectations in the classroom to really help get their time management skills to progress throughout the year so they are set up for success in the future.